one now.
So we're still using a reducer on the entrance. There can be robin in the spring, weak and strong hive. So we still got them all choked down a little bit. When they start filling up with bees, we're gonna open them up. So first look, looking for hive beetles. I don't see any on top, but a lot of bees on top. I don't see any, I don't see a queen. She shouldn't be up here, but she could be. We'll get rid of these sensors. Looks like the brood's definitely over on this side. Oh, hi beetle. Hi beetle. You know what we're gonna add to this one. All right, let's see what we got here. Pretty heavy. First blush, seems a little heavy, but that doesn't necessarily, no, there's honey here.
Full frame, half frame.
Yeah, it was only half full to start with. I'm looking for hive beetles. I don't see hive beetles on this one. Yeah, this wasn't full to start with. So that's, normally we would put more honey in here, but it, you know, this only had 10 frames and you can tell they weren't full. So they did not eat all the honey through the winter. Here we go. We're getting some. So look at all the honey in this frame. This is only 10 frames. People say that you need more food to get through the winter. You cannot survive on 10 frames. Look how much honey is left in this. Now it's February, and this is early, but we've had a lot of warm days, and that's all brand new nectar right here. If you can, hopefully you can see that in the camera right there in the middle. That is all brand new nectar from this year. So that's good. That's really good. I haven't seen any brood yet, but I said the brood looked like it was over on the side. That's all brand new nectar. Yeah, we probably don't have to feed. That looks like they're trying to lay brood in that circle. See that circle?
Mm-hmm. Cleaning them out, getting it ready.
Yeah, I think Mike's right. It looks like they're cleaning those cells in the middle. There may be eggs. I may have to get a veil this year that has the glasses in the veil. You know what I'm talking about? I can't see anymore. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
There's brood.
There's brood. Right there. See it, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
There's brood right there. That brood's been there a bit. They're getting ready to cap it. So that brood is 7-10 days old. 14. Okay. So that's not drone brood. You can tell by the size of the cells and what's capped. So we're good. We don't need to find the queen. There's plenty of food. So the nice thing about an insulated hive is we did not see a lot of food over here. Most of the food's over here, but because the hive is insulated and warmer, those bees are able to migrate through the hive and get to the food as they need it. So I'm not worried about these bees starving. I think we'll still put feed on them, give them 1-to-1. It's gonna get cold. We wanna keep them going. So, and we have it, and we've already made it up, so we're gonna do it. So in this hive, we got some moisture up here. We got a lot of moisture. So basically what happened is this Hive Alive patty, there's a hole right here, did not seal tight. The moisture, instead of staying in the hive and condensing on the side, it all came up to the lid. I don't know if you can see this, I'll show you. This is just full of water, condensation, and there's a little bit of mold up here. Okay, not a problem. Not a problem at all. No worry. But it's just an interesting thing because that little bitty hole right here, or if you don't get, when you run a condensing hive, if you don't get this sealed down tight, then the moisture will come up underneath here and do the same thing. So right off the bat, I would say not as many bees at all. So we'll take a good look at this. Was there pollen coming in here, Carla?
Yes.
Okay. So the fact there's pollen, that means there's most likely a queen. But right off the bat, there's nothing going on over here. It's a pretty small cluster over here. I would say this hive is going to want to get some additional frames of brood, and maybe in a couple of weeks we steal from somebody else and we plus this thing up. You know, there's enough bees here, it's worth trying to save. It looks like right now. We'll see. A little bit of honey. I don't see a hive beetle though. I don't see any hive beetles at all, you? But there's honey on every frame. Okay, there's not a lot of honey on every frame, but there's honey on every frame. So,
And more.
so when you get a hive like this, you need to do what you can to help it, which is feed and pollen. I could have probably skipped the pollen on the last two, but you know, we for the most part, we're going to treat them all the same. I don't see any hive beetles. Considering how few bees there are, it's kind of surprising. Normally, the bees can handle a hive beetle issue. Honey, that's actually fresh nectar right here. That is fresh nectar. Okay, there's a little bitty circle of brood right here, and there ain't much. I mean, that is not much, but it's brood. We're going to look a little more on this one just because this one's a little bit different. Okay, here we go. Looks a lot better. Nice little circle of brood.
There you go.
Another little circle of brood. We're just going to roll through this one. Is that brood showing up in the camera when I show it? Another little...
Tell James.
Oh, right here's a queen. Can you look and see if the queen's in the picture, please?
That's definitely in the picture.
Blue dot queen right there. And she looks good. If you notice, she's stretched out a little bit, so she's in full laying mode. Okay, that's good. Queen's there. There's brood on, a little bit of brood on a lot of those frames. So it's okay. It ain't great, but it's fine. Totally fine. So this hive is 2 hives. These are 2 small 5-frame nukes.
Hive beetles.
So interesting, this is the tray on the bottom. This shows the hive beetles. And this hive on this side killed them.
There's some on there.
And there's a few on this side, but
Nope, there's a live one.
look at there's one in there. See this?
Yeah.
He's inside. Well, there's fewer bees. I'll get rid of the sensors that only partially work. There was a beetle trap on this other side, and there was not one on this side. And if we notice, we saw more beetles on this side than the other side. Okay, there's no food on this frame. A little bit right here. That's a little bit.
This one's full.
Good. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so this one is, yeah, I mean, this is half full, and that's good. And they're putting nectar back in it. So, no hive beetles seen. So, 5-frame nuke. There was a decent amount of bees. It wasn't big. It's only the 2nd year we tried to do this, so it's an experiment to see if in the spring we can either sell some bees, or if we need them, we can replace a dead out. So I don't think we got any dead outs this year.
Have you seen any brood?
No brood, no queen. And to be honest, the few bees that are in here, I would see this queen. Brood.
Yeah.
We're gonna say that it ain't pretty. We need to add some brood to this. This needs feed. And so we're gonna add pollen, we're gonna add feed, and we're gonna add a beetle trap. No, they're not.
None of them have been bad.
No, they really haven't. Yeah, they've been pretty reasonable in their temperament right now. But we kind of think it goes back to when they have more bees to lose, and they'll tend to be pissier. When they have fewer bees, they have fewer to lose, and they're going to be a little more reasonable. Food here. Food looks good, actually. This thing's got a lot of food. I'm amazed at how much food in a 5-frame nuke.
Did you see any pollen? 'Cause I just
No,
didn't see
there's
any
no pollen right here. First one that's got pollen right here. And there's also brood. That is all brand new pollen. Do you see it?
Yep.
And there's a very small pile of brood. And on the other side, a very small pile of brood. No pollen on this frame. We're going to go ahead and look at the last one just because it's the last one. I'm sure we didn't see the queen on the other side, but there's only one frame left. Nobody there. Got her right here.
Yeah.
Little blue dot queen. She's small. Her abdomen is a lot smaller. She has not got the full size yet. Looks good. There's a queen. There's some brood. Not doing great, but they start out with less resources. Okay. I would say that this is not quite as strong as some of the other ones. It's not horrible. Not all hives are the same. So, okay, so let's see here. Hive beetles, food. There's food over here already. Right there. Yep. I think they actually ate this winter. It looks like to me, we'll see what the next one looks like, but it just looks like to me the shape of the way it's curved is it was eaten. Which is why it's there. It's there for them to eat. So, a lot of honey here though. There's a bunch of nectar there. There's a lot of food here. Single brood box. Oh, this thing is full. This frame is full. Between new nectar. Yeah, the only reason I'm going to feed them, like this hive here, is when it turns cold, I want them to keep laying. And I don't want them to stop at this point. Because we want to make honey in the spring. We want to have our first harvest in June instead of the 4th of July, if possible. Boy, there's a lot. That's full. Okay, they ate this in the winter. They did not eat anything. Okay, here we go. A little bit of brood, nice little circle.
Yep.
Another, right here's a queen. Okay, unmarked queen. What color's last year?
Blue.
You say blue?
I think so.
Now, it is possible there are 2 queens in this hive, and that was a late season queen. Now, she was fat, so that queen is definitely laying. I'm wondering if we're going to see a second queen in here.
Quite a bit of brood, isn't there?
There is, right here. There's a lot of brood, and that queen was fat, so that queen strikes me as a laying queen. If there's another queen in here with a dot, she is not laying. Yes, doing great. Another pile. It was easy to see that queen because there's not very much brood in here. I wasn't expecting an unmarked queen, but you know, sometimes there is. Okay, there's brood all the way across. And there's pollen. Here's the pollen they're bringing right here. Okay, looks great.
Bees?
Yeah. Okay. This is really light. A lot of bounce here. Shit. So that's the problem about doing bees in early spring when it's still cool, is the hives are propolis together and you can break them. I was a little rough on that. I hadn't had a problem yet and I just kept going. So that was my fault. I should have gone a little slower and separated the frames before I tried to lift them. So, my mistake. Yeah, this thing is full of honey.
Wow, yeah.
That's great to see. Great to see. So we'll end up setting, not now, but later on we get in this, we'll set this thing out and let it get robbed out and be done with it. That's what you gotta do. You gotta replace frames when you gotta replace frames, so. Holy crap. These guys might have gone to the Caribbean for the winter because they didn't eat anything. That is amazing. Single brood. You people whose bees are starving, look at the difference. Now see, they ate this. This was eaten in the winter, I can tell. Nice circle, and then they're backfilling it. And because the hive is insulated, the bees are able to migrate through the hive and stay on the food. That's one of the advantages of an insulated hive. Same thing right here. You can see, they ate this. It was all the way down to the bottom, just like this, and they ate both sides. That's exactly what you get with an insulated hive. Rather you buy an insulated hive or you DIY insulate your hives like what we do. So here's pollen. So they're getting enough pollen now that they're getting extra that they don't need to feed the bees. I assume they got brood in here, but they're getting enough extra they're able to store some, which is good. Because it's going to turn cold and freeze and we're going to stop the pollen flow at some point. Okay, there's some brood.
On both sides.
Yep, brood on both sides. It looks good. Look at one more and we'll be done. Okay, a little more brood. There's an old queen cell. That is an old queen cell. I'm going to pop this thing off. It's not a new one. Okay, looks great. And that's it. Let's look at the bottom here real quick. Let's see what we got on the bottom. So this, first off, there's a lot of moisture here. Okay, this moisture is, if you have a solid bottom board, all of this moisture lays on the bottom board. And when your bees go down to crawl out, they wade through this moisture, this condensation that's on the bottom. And one of the advantages of a screen bottom board is the moisture drops through the screen and lands down below, and the bees stay drier. And that's just an advantage of a screen bottom board. So anyway, what do we got here? Okay, good amount of bees. So normally, if you see the black, it's where there was a little bit of air. And there was a little bit of air coming through here in this corner. And it sealed up pretty tight everywhere else, I can see. But right there is a little bit. That's not a big deal. They sealed it with propolis at some point. So the bees look like over there. The thing about plastic frames, which I don't like, is you don't break them. Ooh. So we got a whole bunch of drone frames, and we'll drop the drone frames in them here in another couple of weeks. We got a bunch of them now. We got enough. Okay, that's a full frame of honey. Okay, this was all winter, and you still have a full frame of honey over here. It is amazing that I think a single brood box that they can get through. Now this is almost 2 months early. So in fairness, they shouldn't be bringing this nectar in yet. It's early, and they should still be eating the honey. But you can tell by the amount of food left that we would have been fine. We could have survived another 2 months. Now those nukes were pretty light. Those nukes may have had a problem, which we knew going in. Those nukes were an issue. But this is all, they ate this. This is all being backfilled with nectar. I mean, Jesus. I think it's amazing how much honey. I mean, they're supposed to eat in the winter. These guys didn't even eat. Or they ate like on a diet. They were like on an Atkins diet. They only ate meat. I don't know, man. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. No brood yet. No brood on the next one either. Okay, they've been living over here. These frames are a lot lighter. Okay, this is where they're putting the pollen. And don't see any brood yet. Pretty far over. Yep, brood on this side too. A little bit, which it's just February. We got to keep it in the scale. I know that it's warm. We know it's warm, but it is only February. They have not. Normally we would be doing this in March.
Queen's on the other side.
Yep, they're right there. Mike's seen the queen. Nice blue dot queen. Okay, she's not real fat yet. She's definitely getting longer, and she's starting to fatten out, but she's not full size yet at all. And you can tell because of the way she's laying. There's no brood on this frame. There was only brood on one frame. So we know where she's at. We're very gently going to put it in, push it up against the other hive where there was a lot of space. We didn't hurt her at all. We know we didn't hurt her, and we're good. What we got here? Oh, hive beetle. Hive beetle. Kill all hive beetles you see. They are not your friends. You don't want to make videos of raising hive beetles. You look silly after a bit. It's about raising bees. A little bit of mold here on the edge. They were definitely getting some air exchange. But the inside, where the bees live, there's no mold. It's nice and clean. Condensing hive, water condenses on the side. This is exactly what we want to see. So very happy with that. Full honey. No hive beetles. Nectar. More nectar, old queen cell. Nothing to worry about. Plenty, oh, hive beetle right here. Another one here. I don't mind killing some damaging comb to kill a hive beetle. This here had a pushing cage. That's what this little square is. We do a pushing cage when we add queens. And I can tell that was late. That's probably a fall last year. One of our leftover queens that we liked that we swapped out. Okay, this is all nectar. We're full nectar flow. Not enough bees to make any honey right now. Okay, a little bit of brood. And some pollen. No queen. This is actually exactly what you want to see. Honey, pollen is surrounding the brood. The bees don't have to go very far to get it. I don't see any eggs. There's a hive beetle right next to the. There's a bunch of hive beetles here actually. Right next to the brood. Those hive beetles are going to crawl in there and lay their eggs. I can't remember if they. Do you remember, Mike? I don't know if they lay eggs or if they crawl in there with the brood. I don't know which when they cap it. But anyway, they're hanging around that brood because they're going to make more hive beetles. So. Yeah, this is all brood right here. This whole circle here is uncapped brood. And then yeah, this over here is the cap, like Mike was saying. Looks good. There's definitely a hive beetle issue here. So one of the reasons why we're going to treat all hive beetles, or all of the hives with hive beetles, is they're all right next to each other, you can see. And hive beetles, they migrate pretty easily. So, okay, there was two little frames of brood. We're good. Plenty of food. No worries here at all. Okay, that's interesting. Let me show that. So somebody might ask, how do we know that was fresh nectar? I took that frame and I dumped it because I wanted to see if there were any hive beetles in it, and all of this came out. Okay, that is not honey. That is nectar. And nectar is basically honey before you remove the or before you move the moisture out, and that's why it ran like water. Okay, so here's a mistake. Is when I put this on here, I didn't get it sealed tight, and there was a gap. And then bees came out and got trapped and died, and all these are dead bees. And hopefully there's not a queen up here. And also there's a lot of condensation we saw in one of the earlier hives, because that condensation came up. Instead of condensing on the side of the hive and running down, it just got up top here and got stuck. So, and there's mold. So let's see what we got. Okay, well, I wouldn't say a million bees. I'm looking for hive beetle. Up right here, hive beetle, right there. Little. Okay. Let's see if I can break this thing before I try and pull it out this time. Do a little smarter. There we go. So you notice when I break these free, I don't lift every frame. I just separate them. Okay, this frame's empty. So this looks like, okay, here's a queen. Unmarked, blue dot. I'm going to mark her blue. Okay, so basically what I do on that, I just press her down into the frame gently, and I put a dot. Now, normally in the summertime I'd cage her and keep her safe, but I've got this olive oil all over me and I don't want to be picking up queens right now. So here's a little bit of brood right there. A little bit of brood here, older brood. Oh, here we go. So this hive is going to be blowing up. So there's a lot more brood. Not a lot of food here. So I would say that, once again, pretty empty. Not starving empty, but probably March starving. You know, if this thing went to March, this hive would be hungry. that side's empty. There's honey on that. Saw a hive beetle, I thought. Okay, we're done. So basically, there's not a lot of food here. Another unmarked queen. I would not have put queens in here unmarked. So, okay, what do we have here? Okay, not a lot of bees. Man, they're all pooled up right to the front. Not the best. Don't see any hive beetles though. Always good. I suspect there should be plenty of honey. I don't think that had a lot of honey on it to start with by the looks of that. That's not eaten. I think that looks short. Let's see. Okay, that's interesting. That's all nectar.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of bees in here to bring that much nectar back. I wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't have thought.
They're all out working.
That's true. Well, I was thinking about if the queen was there. Okay, anyway. I wonder if there's a queen in here. Is there pollen coming in here?
There's nothing happening.
I mean, they survived, but this hive does not strike me as a queen.
Oh. Oh,
You see something?
maybe on the other side.
I see a queen cell. So I think, yeah, there's queen cells here. So what they've done, these are fresh, relatively fresh. I think they're laying,
Laying workers?
yeah. I think we're going to start seeing a whole, look right here, there's another one. There's no queen in here. Right here. See this right here? That's already hatched this year. There's either there's most likely an infertile, I'm going to pop one of these cells. Most likely it's an infertile. If there's a queen, she's infertile. I'm just trying to, okay, that larva is not a healthy larva. See that little thing? Yeah, that's alive.
Yeah, how can you tell it's not a healthy
Okay, hold on.
larva?
Well, that one didn't look good, but this one is alive, and that is not a drone. So there's another one that's hatched. I'm just trying to think for a second, all right? It's kind of weird. So that means,
It's just a weak queen.
yeah, weak as hell, isn't it? Yeah. That's definitely that definitely is worker brood, and that worker was alive. See, I thought maybe it was last year, an old cell that didn't hatch. That's why I was popping the top to see. Yeah, this is not strong. These don't look good. I mean, it's alive in the technical sense. And at least, what, 21 days ago or 14, 15 days ago, there was a queen in here that was laying eggs. Not very many. Boy, there's a lot of nectar here. Interesting. Man, that's a whole sheet.
Yeah. Almost combined this one with the pink one.
Well, I mean, find the queen and, and kill her. I mean, I don't believe they swarmed. You know what I mean? There's no bugs. There's no nothing. There's no reason that this hive would have swarmed. I'm just going to roll back through here one more time just to see if I see a queen. But, I mean, the fact that there was live worker brood that was hatching, that means that brood is less than 21 days old. That means there was a live queen healthy enough to lay, fertile enough to lay at least about 8 or 10 that are still remaining. There's not much left though. It almost looks like a swarm though, don't it? Like if this was summertime and this is what we saw, I would have said this hive swarmed and this is what's left. But I mean, all those were queen cells that had hatched. I wonder if they swarm.
You want me to note hatched queen cells?
Yeah. Yeah, I think these guys swarmed. I don't know about what hatched. I don't know if a queen actually hatched. A queen actually laid fertile cells, and I don't believe there's a queen in here now. That's all I would, and I'm guessing on that. She could be in here and I'm missing her. But, you know, there's still 3 queen cells that hatched and I didn't see anything. Here's another one here. Almost looked like they went to town, laid a whole bunch of brood and split. Interesting. Well, so okay, so what does that mean? That means the hive that left is going to starve to death because they didn't take enough honey in their mouths unless they found an empty hive that had full of honey that they could move into and have something to eat. Otherwise, they're just not going to make it. Look at all the hive beetles. Now, I got to be honest, I don't know what kills. I know bees kill hive beetles, but they must have killed them when this thing was full of bees. Like right here implies that one time there was a whole bunch of bees in here because they were eaten. Amazing. That's a lot of dead hive beetles. None in the trap, or none in the house. They killed almost. Ah, interesting. Ready?
Yep.
Let's see what we got. Better. I'll tell you, we were going pretty fast too. I'm really surprised. We ran out.
8 brands.
Honey on one side and empty on the other. I just would like to get all these in. If we don't get the horizontal, we don't get the horizontal, but it'd be nice to get these. This is pudding in proof time. Yeah, lots of nectar. There it is. That nectar just falling out. All that. Soon to be honey one day. Probably not. They're probably just going to eat it. Consume it. Found an unmarked queen, which I marked blue for 2025 queens. Hive had worker and drone brood both. Also lots of hive beetles. Take them out of the swarm traps. There's another one. This was a late queen. That pushing cage is an indicator. Not a lot of food here. This next one's empty. Empty. Hive beetles.
Wow, a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm. Make sure the queen's not here. I'm going to thunk this. Yeah, they're all over here. Dark blue hive looked best of all and should be the strongest hive starting out this year.